Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are getting everything back together, and we're going to be hitting the road pretty soon here. We just finished the Lake Eufaula, Oklahoma event, and if you guys were watching, obviously a completely terrible event for me. There's just no way around that. I had a really bad event, never caught a limit. Yesterday I caught 2 days ago, the first day, I caught 3 fish, 3 keepers, and yesterday I did the big old goose egg. Rest assured, if you ever see me with a 0 after a day of fishing, that means that I didn't catch a keeper. It doesn't mean that I threw fish away. I never ever will throw fish back in the water. I'll always walk across that stage if I have a fish. That's something I promised myself, my fans, and my sponsors a long time ago. So I legit goose egged. I didn't catch a keeper yesterday. And, you know, the first day it was frustrating because I caught like 40 fish and only came in with 3 keepers. Had a lot that, you know, were very close. Even had one in the box that was really close, but still ended up making it. But you know, I caught a lot of fish, just did not catch size, and that was consistent all the way through practice. And I thought that I could make the adjustments necessary to kind of battle that. I thought I had figured, you know, it out a little bit, but things changed a lot in this tournament. And unfortunately, I was fishing a lot of used water, and even then, I wasn't really fishing that used water probably the best way. You know, I'm a shallow water power fishing guy. I like moving quick. I don't like using a lot of finesse tactics, and sometimes that comes to bite me. And in this tournament, that is definitely the case, because a lot of what, in fact, the majority of the guys that did well in this tournament are using spinning rods, and they're throwing like Nico rigs, Demiki rigs, or Ned Miki rigs. My buddy Joey Nania is leading after 2 days, and I've been watching Bass Track. Things have been shuffling a little bit, but he still has a lot of you know, room to grow his bag for today. So big heartfelt good luck to Joey today. Hopefully he can close out his second Bassmaster Open win. Yeah, a lot of guys are using live scope to just you know, look at individual fish and catch them, and my hat is off to them, because, you know, a lot of people like to downplay you know, how easy live scope is to catch fish and how it's ruined the sport and all this, and it's definitely changed the sport big time. It's something that it's hard for me to kind of swallow. Now, the advent of live scope still wouldn't have you know, didn't it change the fact that I only caught 3 fish in this tournament. So it's not like live scope was the reason why I did poorly. I did poorly because I just made bad choices, and my experiences in fishing didn't align with the way this lake was setting up. So I just didn't figure it out. It's just that simple. It's unfortunate because, you know, now I've had 2 real, you know, big bombs this season, and that honestly pisses me off. I mean, I you know, the last 2 years have been you know, a lot more of a struggle. You know, I've had a few bad events, and so right now, and a lot of them could have been changed if I learned how to live scope better. So the biggest key that I've kind of figured out this week is that you know, my strengths are still great. They're still relevant. I can still have great events with them, but in order for me to be a more consistent angler nowadays, I have to bring forward-facing sonar into the fold in terms of a predominant pattern rather than a tool to enhance already existing patterns. So instead of, you know, just using forward-facing sonar to help me, you know, line up a cast or you know, find cover or something like that. I need to use it to find individual fish to catch those fish, and I need to learn how to do that. I need to come up with my own set of lures and my own forward-facing sonar system that I can go out. That's what these guys are doing in a lot of these events now, is they have a certain list, you know, set of rods. You know, Joey Nania, he's got one bait that he really loves to throw, and he does very, very well. In fact, he's only weighed, you know, I think maybe 5 or 6 fish, I think he said, this season on other baits, and that Ned Meeke is his deal, and he's super, super good at it. And it really, you know, today's technology really aligns with that technique. So it's something that I've definitely got to learn. A lot of people have got to learn, but I've been kind of resisting it because I'm like, you know, my strengths are still relevant. The bank is still, you know, a place where you can catch fish and do well in tournaments. And that is true. But there are tournaments like this one that I truly and honestly believe that, you know, I wouldn't have such a bomb if I understood that approach a little bit more. So that is one thing we're going to be doing in the near future, like immediately. Like right now, we're going to start learning how to rely more on our forward-facing sonar. And I know a lot of people are going to be, you know, frustrated with that statement, and they're going to throw hate at the technology. But honestly, it's not about that. The sport is changing, and for me to be a competitor and to not change with it in an appropriate response to that, you know, I'm not doing myself any service by doing that. So I've got to step up, and I've got to learn this technology better and get out there. And, you know, and honestly, other than that, as far as this tournament goes, I'm not sure what else I learned. I learned that the center of this lake, of Lake Eufaula, you know, within 5 miles of the ramp in any direction, that is kind of the key area on Lake Eufaula. It's incredible how much dead water is on this lake. And it was very, very apparent the first day of practice when I was fishing some of the extremities of the lake that you know, nobody else was down there. Nobody was even checking it out. So obviously it's just a lake that the vast majority, I'm talking about 90% of the winnable fish populations, you know, the groups of fish that you can win off of are in the center of the lake. That may not be the case for all seasons, but definitely this tournament, 100%, the clean water is kind of where those fish live. So we're going to be licking some wounds. I'll be honest, you know, this, you know, having one bad tournament a year is, you know, fine, but having 2 just irks me beyond belief. I really, you know, that fires me up. But you know what? I'm not the kind of guy to let that affect me the rest of the season. In fact, I kind of feel like I'm off the hook. You know, I hate to say it, but I'm not in contention to make the Elite Series anymore this season. It's kind of obvious if you look at the 2 finishes that I've had this year that are in the triple digits. And so it does feel like kind of a wasted year, but this is also giving me the opportunity to learn some new techniques like we just talked about, learn some new things, brush up on some things that I think I need to work on, and also, you know, it takes the pressure off as far as a points race. Now I can go out there and really focus on potentially winning an event, you know, in the next few tournaments. And we're going up to New York. That one's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, there's still a lot to look forward to. Unfortunately, it's just not the Elite Series this year. That's not in the cards. But you know what? It's most people that fish the Opens have to fish them for many years before they make the Elite Series. It is very difficult. Now, the new EQ structure, it really lends itself to the best of the best, the cream rising to the top on any given year. And I really thought that we would do better, you know, because I consider myself a consistent angler. I have had 2 years where I've put together some really stinkers, really stinker events, but I still, you know, I still feel like with the EQ structure and how they're inviting 9 anglers over 9 tournaments, that you know, in the next couple years we're gonna do it. But unfortunately 2023 is not the year. But anyways, guys, I don't mean to make this video seem like a downer. It's really not. It's I've always said you've got to embrace the suck in this sport, because it's going to happen to you. You're going to have events. You're going to have big old goose eggs. It's just that type of a sport. It's very unpredictable, and you know, despite our best efforts, in fact, sometimes because of our best efforts, we do poorly on occasion. So I'm not like relieving myself of the responsibility or the you know, the fact that I am responsible for, you know, my finish this week. But there is a component of, you know, just being very close to something, very close to a good pattern, or, you know, knowing where you need to fish and just being slightly off, and it seemed like you're just fishing a completely different lake. So I think that's kind of what happened this week, as well as Bugs Island, you know. And so those 2 events, and the crazy thing is, those were the 2 events I was looking forward to the most this year. So go figure. But anyways, guys, that is kind of the breakdown for this tournament. I want to do a video just strictly based on what I learned here at Lake Eufaula. So we're going to be breaking things down, and I think that I'm highly qualified to share some of my thoughts on Lake Eufaula after this tournament, because I've got 20/20 vision when it comes to like what I missed at Lake Eufaula, you know, the areas that are really key players, you know, some of the things that I would have done differently. I think that you guys would, if you do fish Lake Eufaula or plan on fishing Lake Eufaula, you probably want to watch that video, because I think it's going to be a really telling one. Because this is a very unique fishery, and I learned a ton this week. It wasn't like, you know, Bugs Island, where I wasn't sure what I learned. I learned a lot about this lake. So I look forward to breaking that down, maybe busting out the Navionics maps and kind of looking at some things. But anyways, guys, thank you for keeping up with everything, and you know, just all the support. You know, even with these bad events, there comes great things. And so I'm really fortunate to have these learning experiences, and more importantly, look at them in the right light. I've always been very good at that, and being able to look for the good in a bad situation. But this was definitely a bad situation. You know, it's just a overall bad tournament. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Let's go ahead and you know, just regroup and get it done at the St. Lawrence River. We're going to go up there and have a blast. That's what that tournament's going to be about. Going up north, catching smallies and super hungry largemouth. That sounds like a blast to me. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure you trust the process, and I'm going to see you out on the water.